Welcome to our very first episode of The Drama Behind the Lens, Part 1, Good Times, Esther Rolle and Jimmy Walker. Good Times aired from 1974 to 1979, but tensions behind the scene subsequently caused the decline and ultimately the demise of the show. Rumor has it that Esther Rolle and Jimmy Walker never spoke off camera. In fact, Jimmy Walker was the only major cast of Good Times that did not attend Esther Rolle's funeral when she later passed away in 1998. Esther Rolle's disdain for Jimmy Walker was no secret. Jimmy Walker stated that he felt like a punching bag after every interview of Esther Rolle's. Tensions were so high between the two, witnesses states that they can see the frustration from Rolle every time Walker would crack a joke. As time passed, the quiet situation became louder. Now at age 78, Jimmy Walker was asked about his feud with Esther Rolle. Walker stated that there was no relationship and that they never talked outside of the set. He claimed he's never even had her phone number. As Jimmy's character started to blow up, Esther and her co-actor / husband on screen, John Amos, began to grow increasingly agitated. While Walker became a fan favorite using one-liners like, "Dynamite," John Amos and Esther Rolle was fighting to keep the authenticity and realness of the show. The show had become a barrage of one-liners and off-the-wall jokes. While it was entertaining to some, Esther Rolle and John Amos felt like the very heart of the show was being destroyed. Jimmy Walker was criticized for not fighting the shift of the show. Walker felt like he was good at it, so why not? I guess the checks didn't hurt either. His co-stars felt like he was becoming the face of something they did not agree with. And without having a real conversation about the direction of the show amongst the cast, everyone can still feel the tension and distance. Jimmy says they were never really friends. They were only co-workers. In an interview, Rolle tried to clear up rumors that her feud with Walker was personal. She stated, "He's 18 and he doesn't work. He can't read or write. He doesn't think. The show didn't start out to be that, but with the help of the artists, that's what it turned out to be because they couldn't do that to me. They have made JJ more stupid and enlarged his role. Negative images have been slipped in on us through the character of the oldest child." Ooh, child, did she have to go there? Yeah, I sense a little shade right there. Now, I know they wanted to uphold black images and they wanted to show that no matter what, black people can have a family, they can have a mother and a father in there, but I do sense a little shade, Esther Rolle. You threw a little shade in there, my girl. Esther felt like JJ turned into a full-on cartoon with loud clothes, catchphrases, and over-the-top antics. She felt like the show was slipping into something very dangerous. It was no longer about truth, love, and struggle. It was no longer about family. It was all about fun and comedy. John Amos, who was a serious actor before then, felt the same way. He said the writers would prefer to put a chicken hat on JJ and have him prance around saying, "Dynamite," than to actually think and write up a storyline. With Esther Rolle and John Amos both voicing their opposition to the direction of the show, writers began to focus on JJ and almost JJ only. Esther stated she never signed up for a clown show, but do you know the audience never saw the difference? Now that was an actress. In one report, Esther made it clear that her problem was not with Jimmy Walker, it was the character of James Evans Jr., JJ. The writer of the show blamed Esther Rolle and John Amos for Walker being into himself, so to say. Lear stated if Rolle and Amos wasn't so cruel to Jimmy Walker, then he wouldn't be into himself. He would be more outgoing and loving and open up to them. But since they had such a cold shoulder toward him, he just withdrew and it was all about him and him only. They were simply co-workers. They weren't enemies, but they weren't friends. They showed up, they shined on stage, they did what they had to do, and they went home, never to speak again until the next time it was time to tape. Jimmy felt the distance and he knew what was going on, but he stayed true to his script and he did his job. He did what he was asked and he tried not to stir the pot, not to make too much of a noise. Walker felt like he was showing up to do a job and that's what he was doing. But Rolle and Amos felt like they were losing ground. They'd worked so hard to depict a successful, loving family, and it was all going to waste. Though the show was going strong on camera, behind the scenes, it was getting worse. The problem did not get solved. The jokes were still flowing. The ratings were still up. So the producers kept it as it was. Soon after, you would begin to see the tension on stage as well. Roll and Amos felt like it was more than comedy. They felt like they had to protect the dignity of Black life. John Amos was told his services were no longer needed because he was a disruptive element. In the start of the next season, his character was killed off. Amos felt like the writers did not understand the working class Black experience. Needless to say, Esther Roll was not happy. She was already feeling like the show was just concentrating on antics instead of family values. It had gotten really silly and not meaningful at all. She said on the interview, "There's too much clowning on the show, and the show's becoming meaningless." She says she feels that the show lacks truth, honesty, and sincerity. It lacks the quality it had once before. There's no sincerity anymore, is what she felt. Soon after, she was gone as well. The show continued on, but it was missing something. It lacked a little substance. And after negotiating for better pay and a stronger control over the direction of the show, she returned for season 6. One of her conditions was that JJ become a more responsible character. She tried to get it back to its original roots. She wanted the show to be what it was when it started. But by the time she returned, all the energy had shifted. Nothing, the vibe was different. Nothing felt the same. It just didn't work out for them. With John Amos gone and Esther Roll having her saying so much, the spark was gone. It was not the same. Hence, the demise of the show and the end. So guys, tell me, what do you think about this feud? Do you think it was personal or was it all business? Do you think Esther Roll and John Amos was right for standing up for something and not folding? Or do you think Jimmy Walker was right because it was just business? Or is no one right? Everyone has their own opinion and their different perspectives. Let me know. Drop down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Good times anytime you meet a payment. Good times anytime you need a friend. Good times anytime you are from under. Not getting hassled, not getting hustled. Keeping your head above water. Making a wave when you can. Temporary layoffs. Good times. Easy credit ripoffs. Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. Hanging and a-jiving. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.